Hello, everybody. Wishing you a very happy evening. This is Sorav, and today I'm welcoming you all to my digital talk show. So, Namaskar. On my show today, I have Mac Attram. He's my mentor who taught me how to sell from the stage. I was doing a program in India last December, and Mac literally said me, "You are in your own head." When I was on stage, and I completely forgot the script, and Mac put me in place and gave me feedback to improvise. And after that, I never looked back. My performance that evening was brilliant after his feedback. And ever since then, I never looked back and I learned how to dig the grave from this gentleman. It's always brilliant to host someone exciting on my live session, but today it's Mac. Mac is one of T. Harbaker's lead trainer for Millionaire Mindset intensive program. Some of you would have possibly attended this program from Jain, one of the brilliant programs up there. A course that has changed millions of people, millions of minds. In fact, it has changed Mac's life too. Mac is an author, he's a speaker, he is a truly awesome trainer, a personality that you can't resist. And today in this interview, I'm going to really make Mac speak his heart so that it helps all of us learn from this brilliant man. Hi, Mac. How are you?
Hey, Sorav. Good to see you. Good to see you. I am well. It's great to be on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy to see you, Mac. So, Mac, first of all, I would like to pay gratitude from bottom of my heart for mentoring me. And I think that one experience with you in making the stage has completely changed my life. So, truly, truly grateful to you. And I just wanted to express that before I could even start asking you questions.
You are most welcome. I remember you at that event, and but I remember you were very humble and also open to taking feedback, because as you know, the kind of coaching we give, it's in your face and it's real. Because when you go into the marketplace is real. They're not gonna just give up on you. So I'm glad you were able to take that on board and utilize it.
I remember I forgot my lines on the stage and you told me this, that you are in your own head, sort of get out of it. So I think I really took that very seriously. That night you didn't see me, but I performed really well. So just want to let you know. So are you ready for the first question, Mac? I'm going to keep a mix of questions related to Millionaire Mindset and what helps us in driving good sales. Are you ready for the same?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, fire away.
Okay, let's get started. Mac, when someone is selling their courses or anything for that matter, they generally have this fear in their mind that how would a person opposite perceive me? He would reject me, possibly that's on their mind. So what are your thoughts on the same and how does one overcome that?
Okay, for me, for me, that's very simple. Many years ago, I was involved in selling products and services that I didn't believe in. And I didn't really know what difference it makes. I didn't understand the mission behind it. I didn't understand the emotional story behind it. What I've come to learn is this, and the reason why I love selling now and be very, I have sold tens of millions of dollars worth of stuff over the last 10 years to people who actually need it. And so I love selling now. It wasn't always the case. The reason why people are in their head when it comes to selling, or they feel uncomfortable for selling, is because they don't believe in the product or the service. And what I say to people is this: if you know this product or this service is going to make an immeasurable difference to someone's life, it's going to either, listen, imagine you have something that is going to save someone's life, or it's going to make them a lot of money, or it's going to make a big difference to their family, or it's going to make a big difference to their health. Do you keep quiet about it? Or do you actually present it in a way that I didn't think about it that way, but now you've shown me how it can change my health, my wealth, my money, my family, my everything. Now I'm ready to listen to you. So the moment you actually put yourself in their shoes, two things: one, believe in what you have, and the second thing is put yourself in their shoes in terms of you've got to communicate that across to them in a way that gets them to make an informed decision. Right. Those two things are critical.
Awesome, man. This is too good. Basically, if you see that it can actually change someone's life, it can really add value and you can help them in taking informed decisions. A really interesting point there, Mac. Mac, what are some of the important things that one needs to take into consideration while driving sales? Like you always say, talk to the right person, and there's a lot more that we have learned from you. So what else is very important while you are taking decision in driving sales?
Yeah, in regards to sales, you've got something, and here's the other thing I wanted to say just now. If you're working for a company and they're asking you to sell something and you don't believe in it, it's very hard to sell it. So get the reason why this product exists. It makes it easier. Now, I'm going to share something with you. I call the trilogy. So I'm going to talk about product, people, and price. If you believe in that product now, and you believe it's going to make a difference to people, then you've got to identify which people, what group of people actually need this thing, and it's going to make a big difference to them. And so this is, as a digital marketer yourself, then this is what you're going to identify: your ideal client, the niche, the avatar. Who are this group of people who will look at this product and think, oh yeah, this is for me. Not resist it, but actually open to hear about it, listen to it, because they have the problem. So who are the people and what is the problem? So problem, and then the third and the fourth thing is price. Earlier on this year, maybe January and February, people are out there selling their products and services. And maybe in March, April, May, things changed. And maybe they couldn't sell as much as they would have liked to, or things. Now, you got to think about this. The people, in other words, the prospects that I had back in January and February, are they the same type of prospects that are going to be buying now? Or do I need to realign and say, okay, well, who is my avatar? Who is the ideal client now? And if I can identify them, do I need to position the price to suit them? So all the time I'm saying to my clients, look, who are the people? What problem do they have? And what's the product you're going to give to them? And at what price? Constantly keep asking that question. Right. People, problem, product, price. And if you can fit all those things together, they're more likely to buy it, and it'd be easier for you.
People, product, problem, and price. The 4 P's
yes.
that Mac Attram suggests. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Very interesting, Mac. So while you're trying to sell, how does one handle objections and rejections?
That's a great question. I could speak for several hours on this area alone. And, when it comes to selling, there's different formats of selling. The three types of selling I teach are consultative selling, where you're speaking to someone one-on-one. I also teach webinar selling, where you are on a webinar, they're not there, you are just giving information and selling. I also teach platform selling. So you're on the platform, on a stage, one to many people, and as you know, you've experienced that, right? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about, with all 3 of them, you need to have an ability to handle objections. And when it comes to handling objections, it's simply when somebody says to you, maybe in a consultative selling, and you're sitting next to them and they say, if they don't say yes to your product or your service when you're positioning it, then automatically it's a no. If you say something like, do you think this product is ideal for you? Do you think this will help you? Do you understand my presentation? If they haven't said yes to your product or your service, then it's automatically a no. And the no is often disguised. Human beings are very funny. Sorav, they disguise it like this. Can you send me an email about that? Or right. They'll say, can you send me your brochure, your product brochure? Or they'll say, well, can I speak to this person about it? Or can I speak to that person about it? These are all objections. But sometimes, when they disguise it, sometimes I say, no, I don't think this is for me. Most people take that no as a rejection of them. as a rejection of them. And I'll say this, it's not a rejection of you, because clearly you're a good person. It's an objection. In other words, there's something I haven't heard that's not allowing me to make a decision. There's something missing. So there are only 3 types of objections that typically come up. One is about price. I can't afford it. It's too much money. We don't have the budget. The second one is interest. I'm not really interested in that. It's not something I need. I don't really. And the other one is time. You know, I don't have the time for this, or we buy this in the middle of the year. We buy this in January, whatever. So those 3 objections, so you must prepare, because if you speak into enough people, you'll understand typical objections that come up. So once you're aware of that, there is a technique that I teach, which simply says this: listen to what they are saying to you. Listen, right. And as you're listening, and they say a no, or they disguise the no, acknowledge what they're saying. So acknowledge, I understand what you're saying, and then ask them a question. Ask them a question in relation to what the positioning you're trying to place. By asking them a question, that opens up the conversation. Many people in sales who have not been trained correctly, or who do it very badly, they get very aggressive. So it sounds like, so you're trying to help that prospect or that client, and they say, no, I don't think I need it. It's too expensive. What do you mean it's too expensive? We have the best product, better than anybody else. Just slow down. Instead of coming aggressive, just slow down. I understand what you mean. Which particular part of this is too expensive for you? So just have a conversation. And if you can just have a genuine conversation with them, and by acknowledging them first, they feel like you've heard them, that you are listening to them. And people want to be acknowledged. People want to be listened to. So now it forces you to listen to the client more. And by listening to them, acknowledging them, and then asking them specific questions in relation to your product or service or their needs, you're going to move closer to the sale. Now, what I've just described, Sorav, is it making sense, guys?
It's making sense. Yeah. If you guys are finding this amazing, type in the chat and say amazing right now. Yes, man, go ahead. It's amazing.
Fantastic. So what I'm saying here now is very much about consultative selling, so one-on-one. Now, can you use the same thing in a webinar? Yes. Can you do the same thing on platform selling? Yes. And all you do simply is you have the audience listening in, or you have the audience in the room listening in. And you know some people are going to have objections around price. You know some people are going to say, well, that's not for me. I can get that better somewhere else. You know some people are going to say that, oh, I can't, this is not the time for me. I'll look at this next year. So why don't you answer all of that in your presentation?
Right.
Right? So you're handling the object, they're thinking it, and you're answering it in advance of their thoughts. Now they have less resistance. And watch this, Sorav. The resistance comes from here, down, 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 down. And when the resistance comes down, now they're more likely to buy from you.
Right. Amazing. Very well thought, Mac. So basically, you're also trying to say, don't take rejections personally.
Absolutely. Don't take the sales process personally. You may take it as a rejection. It's not a rejection. It's an objection. It's an objection to something that they haven't heard, or something that doesn't make any sense. But it's not a rejection of you. You are not a bad person. It's just an objection.
Right. Okay, Mac, that's some question from the perspective of sales. Thanks for some really great tips. I'm sure audience has learned a lot. If you guys learned a lot, just go ahead and leave a thumbs up in the chat right now. My next question for you is, there's something called surviving mode and a striving mode in the mindset of a business person, right? Or I would say surviving mindset and a striving mindset. Can you explain a little bit about that? I watched one of your videos and I found this really, really interesting. So what's the difference, and why should someone have a striving mindset when they are in the pathway to grow their business?
Okay, very good. So actually, there are four levels, and you mentioned the first two, which is great. You know, some people are in surviving, some people are in striving, some people are now driving. That means they're more in charge of what and more in control, and some people are thriving. Let me come to the basic. There are a lot of people just surviving in business. They're struggling. In other words, they can't keep their head above water. They can't pay their bills. Money is scarce. They're not selling enough. They're not marketing enough. It's just not going right. And they are on the verge of giving up. But the key critical thing, if they're going to move from surviving to striving, is to understand that struggle is only a choice.
Right.
All they need is help. All they need to do is ask for help. And they can ask for help from an advisor, a coach, a mentor, someone to just show them the right way. And once they do that, now they move to a place of striving. Now they've decided consciously that actually surviving is no longer for me. I want to start moving ahead. I want to start moving forward. So they move into striving. And then at this striving stage, now they are feeding, you know, the results they're getting because they have support. It's better than before. It's still inconsistent. It's still up and down. 1 month they've got the money, next month they haven't. It's still inconsistent. So they realize they've got to continue improving themselves, because your business, your wealth, your money, your income can only grow to the extent that you grow. And I'm sure you agree with me, Sorav, right? So
right, totally agree with what you just said. Yes.
So once you continue striving forward and learning, you're going to learn more. You're going to take more risks. You're going to feel more powerful. You're going to feel more certainty, and you're going to get better results. At that moment, now you move to a place of driving. Driving looks like now the money is consistent.
Right.
Everything is consistent. You're not worried about the up and down because you've put the right systems in place, the right things in place in marketing, in sales, in your team, and it's consistent. Now you feel more in control. You feel like every month you're doing the things, you're doing the right things. And this place for a lot of people is very comfortable. And comfort is highly overrated. And this place, a lot of people who feel like they drive in their life, and a lot of people felt like that in January and February this year. They got complacent.
Wow.
And they were driving their life and driving everything. And they said, well, this is good enough. This is good enough. And good enough is actually a trap. Good enough is a trap because they stop learning, they stop getting advice, they stop getting coaching, and it's a trap. Now, the higher level I call thriving. If you want to be in a place where everything is fabulous, wonderful, and everything's in place, you've got to say, actually, good enough is a trap. What I need to do is I choose to make a difference. I'm going to challenge myself to the highest potential that I have. And the moment you say, I'm going to challenge myself to the highest potential that I have, that's when you're going to step into thriving.
Thriving.
Exactly. Just like if you think of any Olympic athlete, at one stage, that Olympic athlete was struggling, right? They'll turn up to training, everybody will beat them. But they say, I'm going to strive. I've got to learn. Coach, show me. And they go and they go. At some point, when they get to good enough, they get to what I call driving. Now they're winning the national championships. They're winning some championships. They're one of the best in the country. But unless they say, I want an Olympic medal, I want to be an international champion, they just stay at a national level. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the moment they say that, now they're pushing themselves to their highest potential. And everybody should be doing that, because at the highest potential, that's when you're going to get the best customers. That's when you're going to get the best endorsements. That's when customers are going to be knocking on your door because you're providing the best services. Just like you, Sorav, you've got so many, tens of hundreds of thousands following you across all your social media. Why? Because you never stuck at, I just want to survive, I just want to do average. You put yourself out there. It was uncomfortable. But you're pushing yourself to national, international, global. Right?
Right.
It's not an easy trick.
True. I'll really take these points very seriously here. Don't struggle. Move on. Take help. Strive. Striving. Take a direction. Start driving towards a place where you think that you are the best, but then you still need to thrive, because that's the place where you get stuck and you need a coach again at that point of time who can push you to thrive, to move on to next level.
Absolutely.
Mac, that's really insightful, and I'm sure a lot of you have been learning a lot here. If you guys are having fun, type down and say having fun. Mac, you are the author of a book called Millionaire Movement. Can you tell me a little bit more about this book?
Yeah, that's this book here. So this book is published in this year.
Awesome.
Right. So this is a Millionaire Moment. I'm actually an author of 4 books.
Four books, right? Yes.
This one was an international bestseller, Face It and Fix It. This is a personal development book, The Inspired Warrior's Code. Now, so the reason why I show you this is I wrote this. This was my second book, all about personal development and how to live your greatest self, your best self. Okay. And then I was teaching people in business, and so I didn't have a business book. So I sat and wrote this business book, Face It and Fix It. T. Harv Eker says, Face It and Fix It is the shot in the arm that every owner of a struggling business needs. In the first week of launch, I sold over 37,000 copies of this and became #1 international bestseller. Now, the book I didn't have, where people kept, every time people ask me the same question, I sit down, I'll put it in the book. And so I didn't have a wealth creation book. This wealth creation book talks about how my struggles, really talks about my struggles. How did I come from over $100,000 in debt to becoming a millionaire? What happened? And Sorav, you know my story, but for those who've never heard my story, there was a time in my life when my first business that I had wasn't going right. I was failing badly. I was about to lose a business. I was over $100,000 in personal debt. And this is not, this is personal money I owed other people that I had to pay back. My business partners had cheated on me. The business wasn't going right. I was only married for a few short years, and we had one child, Tiana Nicole, and she was very young. And my wife now at that time was pregnant with our second child. Things weren't going right. I was struggling. I ended up working so many hours, 90 hours a week, 100 hours a week, hardly at home. At one point, I felt my wife was going to leave me. That's how bad it was, because she was, you know, it was arguments and all I wanted to do was to fix my business. And I remember one day driving home from work, which is about 1.5 hours away, 5 minutes from my home. I just didn't want to go home that evening. I drove into a car park, the shopping center car park, 5 minutes from my home. I sat there, my hands on the wheels, having this breakdown, thinking, am I a failure? What happened? This is not, I look at, this is not the life I wanted. I went to school, I studied hard, I did everything they said, but my life was in tatters. And that moment, having this breakdown, there came an epiphany in my mind that said, the mind that created your situation cannot be the same mind that takes you out of your situation. And that's when I got onto the journey of reading personal development books, business books. I started asking, how do wealthy people, successful people, business people do things successfully? I went onto that self-discovery journey, and I went to workshops, seminars, and things started to change for me because I started to implement. And the reason why I wrote that book, this book, is because it's all in here. I talk about my story from destitute, struggling, to becoming a millionaire, about the fact that, so what does it take? I also give lots of examples and science behind how do you create a wealthy mindset. Wow. The difference between poverty thinking and wealthy thinking. I also talk about different examples of people who come from struggling and turn their things around. I give stories, I give scientific proof as to what you can do to have the same. So that's what the book's about.
Okay, so I'll ask you some questions with respect to that book now, Mac. So guys, all of his book is available on Amazon, so you can go and check it out in case you want to buy. Just search for Mac Attram and you'll get to see his books there. Mac, what's the first gradual shift one needs to go through to get the millionaire mindset?
Right, good question, Sorav. What's the okay? So first steps first is this. You know my friend Suren at Success Jain, and with him, the blessing has been to India that the Millionaire Mind Intensive has been coming there. So we're very grateful for him for that, and it's a pleasure always coming to India to teach that program. And one of the first things you'll learn at a Millionaire Mind Intensive program is this: that we all have ingrained within our subconscious mind. Most of us are not even aware of it. We all have what's called a money blueprint. And it's this money blueprint that actually keeps people financially successful, or keeps people in financial mediocrity, or keeps people in financial failure. Before I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive as a student, my money blueprint was set for failure, and I did not know. And it was going through that program, I realized, oh, my future is very bleak if I don't fix it. And a good thing, and so one thing is to identify your money blueprint. And so, for example, there are people who could, during this COVID-19 situation, could lose their money, lose everything. And I can guarantee you within 1 year, 2 years, they made it all back again. Why? Because of their money blueprints, right? And there are people who can fail at something and they'll continue failing and never retrieve that back. Let me give you an example. Let's give an analogy. Imagine we are all in a big room, and there are windows in this room, and there is a climate control thermostat. And that climate control thermostat is designed to regulate the temperature in the room, yes?
Right.
Imagine that it's set for 18 degrees Celsius, that thermostat. So the room is regulated to 18 degrees Celsius. But somebody foolishly opens all the windows. It's a hot day outside. Is it going to get hotter inside the room or colder inside the room? It's going to get hotter, uncomfortable.
Hotter. Right.
And so someone says, no, it's too hot. Close the windows. The air conditioning is on. So they close the windows, and the thermostat, it kicks in and regulates the temperature control back to 18 degrees Celsius. And the same way a room has thermostatic control, we all have our money blueprint. We all have our own money thermostat. And it's this thermostat, or we call it the money blueprint, that's regulating your financial life. So you've got to identify it and then deal with it. And so, if you can't get to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, if you can, if you can't, then you need to right now just look at what are the results I'm getting financially? What are the results I'm getting this year? I got last year. What are the results I'm going to be getting next year? And if that financial situation doesn't look healthy, and it always looks like in surviving mode, then you've got to say, I need help. And then I need to ask a question. Get my book, The Millionaire Moment. Get T.R. Becker's book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Get Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There are lots of wealth books that will help you to start sorting out your financial future. But this talks about the mind first, the millionaire moment. And the reason why it's called the millionaire moment is this. One thing I realized is this: the moment you decide to move from surviving to striving to driving to thriving, everything changes. If you decide to do nothing, you will actually not stand still. You'll start going backwards.
Wow.
Life happens in moments. And Anthony Robbins says this. He said, in the moment of decision, your destiny is shaped.
Well, in the moment of decision, your destiny is shaped. This is brilliant. Fantastic, Mac. And I also love the way you told the story about yourself. It just got me Blair Singer in back of my mind. His On the Right Techniques. You just did an amazing job at it a few minutes back. So Mac, when somebody's on this journey, right, what are some of the key challenges? Like say a millionaire mindset journey. What are some of the key challenges one comes through or one has to overcome?
when you're on this journey, you need to understand this. There are people who will try and keep you back. So the moment you make a decision that you want to strive, you want to change your life, understand that only you can do that.
Right.
That's why I call it the millionaire moment, because in that moment, you have made a critical decision that you don't want to be going backwards anymore. Now, there are friends and family who are not going to be happy with you. There are friends and family, suppose friends and family, who are going to try and pull you back because you're trying to be different, because you're trying to go forward, because you're trying to move forward. So you've got to understand that not everybody's going to be in support of that. So one of the key things is surround yourself with people who are on the same track. Some
Right.
people who are thinking the same, because that will keep you supported, because otherwise it's easy to give up. And I love what Anthony Robbins says, get into a deep immersion. So if you can get into a situation where you're constantly reading the right books, you're going to the right programs, the right courses, listening to people like Sorav, just listening to what he's saying, because some people don't get it straight away. What is he talking about? How to find clients, what to do consistently, practice. Do all those things, because those people have done it before and you can follow the same path. Modeling someone else is always a great thing.
Awesome. This is some great advice there. Matt, I have one more question for you, which is one of your favorite ones. How to make money grow? And what's your key take on the same? Because a lot of people don't have an idea about it. And what is your advice on that? How
to make money grow?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. So let's talk about that. I'm going to talk about two factors. One is money management, okay? And the other one is compounding money or compounding wealth. The first one is, when I was struggling financially, what I realized now in hindsight is that I was a poor money manager. I wasn't managing my money. I've read some books about money management, but I wasn't following it. And one thing we learned at the Millionaire Mind Intensive, or we teach rather, is how to manage your money by splitting it into specific accounts.
Right.
So if you can manage your money, realizing that, okay, this is for this, this is for this, this is for this, any income that comes in, it's split. And so that when you are going to spend money, you know that this is the money for this. And if the money's not there, you can't spend it. If you're going to invest in something, you know this is the pot for the investment. If there's no money in there, you can't invest. So first of all, I'll say two things, three things. First thing is get the mindset right. The second thing is about money management. The third thing is, once you start managing your money, you've got to start thinking about how do you become financially free? And financial freedom then leads to the fact that, okay, I can only be financially free if I have enough passive income coming in. In other words, income that's coming in without me having to work every single day.
Right.
If I can set that situation up, whether that passive income comes from real estate or from stock or from digital marketing or from mobile applications, it doesn't matter, cryptocurrency. As long as I've got a vehicle that I can look at, maybe a few minutes a day, a few minutes a week, whatever it is, that gives me ongoing passive income. If that passive income is now greater than my monthly expenses, now I have more freedom.
Right.
I don't have to go and work for that boss. I can move away. And so once you have that passive income, the next stage is say, okay, how am I going to grow my wealth even more? And that wealth now says, you've created some passive income. What are some other vehicles that can compound my investments? Compounding, in other words, will move faster than you can. If you've got your money sitting in your bank account, it's not compounding. The bank is giving you whatever's silly percentage. So you've got to take your financial future into your own hands and invest your money in the right way. But listen to the right advisors in order to do that. And some of the speediest and quickest ways to compound your money, in other words, the term I'm looking for is leverage. For example, if you have, let's say, for example, I mean, you got a lot of viewers in India. I'm going to talk about, instead of rupees, I'll talk about dollars. Imagine you have $10,000 today and you decide to go invest it in real estate property, and you invest it in real estate, and that $10,000, the bank says they'll give you some money so you can get the investment. Now, in that moment, your 10,000 has turned into something much more valuable. You're leveraging your money. The bank's going to give you the rest of it, for example. You'll then invest in that property. In that property now, you will rent that property out for passive income. At the same time, over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, that property is worth a lot more than your initial investment. This is what I'm talking about, compounding. So I invest in stocks, I invest in gold, I invest in cryptocurrency, I invest in businesses, I invest in real estate, all because of compounding, right? So cryptocurrencies, for example, I've had situations where some of my crypto coins have gone up by more than 400%.
Wow.
With little effort. Why? Because I've got the knowledge, first of all, and then I just follow their system. So this is all about acquiring the right knowledge and then practicing it until it gets you to where you want to go.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you recommend someone's system at this point of time?
Oh, there are so in terms of what? There's so many different vehicles, you see.
Right.
There's so many different vehicles. So it depends on the vehicle. So what I say, Sorav, is decide on which vehicle is going to create passive income for you, and ultimately you want it for financial freedom. So for me, when I was broke and I was struggling, I thought I was going to be, the first port of call was I was going to make it very, very big in business, but I was struggling in business. But I went and learned how to do business properly from some great teachers. And I fixed my business. Then I sold my business. It was a small IT company. And then I started investing in real estate property, because what I was fed up was working hard and struggling. So when I started investing in real estate property, what happened was now I was having some passive income. But before I did that, I went and studied how to do real estate properly with little or no money.
Right.
It was a study. After that, I went into other passive income vehicles. So everybody can do the same thing, but essentially get the knowledge first before you dive into it.
Superb. This is some really good advice. I'm going to take them very seriously. Thank you so much for doing this, Mac. Mac, some people really fear investing in themselves. For example, last year I took a call. I took up courses, trained the trainer. I took Making the Stage. I did multiple such programs that transformed me completely. What's your take on that, and what advice would you give to those people who fear investing in themselves?
Okay, very good. You see, that's a great point. Investing in yourself is the best thing you can ever do. Do you know where most people get their information? They listen to other people who have never done it, who are not doing it, and who will never do it. They'll listen to friends and family say, "No, why don't do that?" And they've never done it. There are people who have never done any kind of business, but advising people how to do business. Don't take your advice from them. You've got to decide, what do you know, when I was struggling financially, over $100,000 in debt, not seeing my family, not seeing my young daughter, things weren't going right. There were still people trying to give me advice, and these were broke people. Nice people, but broke people. The moment I said, okay, how do successful people do it? What do they do? That's when I realized the answers we're looking for is in the book. It's in the book, it's in the courses, it's in the program, it's on YouTube. And there's so much information out there on Facebook, YouTube, stuff you can learn and study, Udemy, so many different courses. Choose your guru, choose your teacher, choose your expert, and follow everything that they show you until you get the results. But even with some people who choose that, okay, I'm going to invest in myself, then they go here, 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 and they get lost and they end up at square one. The best investment you can ever do is invest in yourself. By that I mean in your knowledge, in the information you receive, and that changes your habit. It changes you. And when it changes you, now you behave and do things differently. Do you understand?
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's why you must invest in yourself.
Super. So guys, if you're enjoying this session and you want to pay gratitude to Mac for all his teachings today, just say I love Mac in the chat right now. Go down, type down and say I love Mac.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
For someone to move from rags to riches, what does it take? Like, you have that journey of yours. What does it take? What is that one thing that is required to move from rags to riches?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, there's a quote I wrote in this book, and this book is about rags to riches. So, if you know, one of the things I say is this: if you were born poor, it's not your fault. And this is a famous quote from someone else, I can't remember. But if you die poor, it is your fault.
Awesome.
Do you understand? So, in other words, that there is so much information right now that you can change your life if you choose to, but it's a choice. And so my biggest thing, if someone wants to move themselves from rags to riches, is to change your mindset, change the way you think. In other words, what do I want? What is it going to look like? And who do I have to be in order to have that? And the biggest thing is, who do I have to be? Because the beingness, the person who got you to where you are now, is not the person. It's not the same mindset. It's not the same behavior. It's not the same habits that will get you to where you're trying to go. So the mindset has to change. The beingness has to change. The habits have to change. Your virtues have to change. The way you deal with people and the way you show up, and everything has to change in order for you to scale to that next level.
Wow, amazing. And at this point of time, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
There are some people, they are stuck and they're not able to move out of the failure trap that they have created for themselves. How can someone reprogram their mind for success?
Excellent. Good. That's a good question. One of the simplest ways to reprogram your mind for greater success, and anyone can do this, everyone can do this, is to change your language.
Wow.
What do I mean by that? You know, every day when you wake up, you can tell yourself certain things, or you can tell yourself something else. You know, some people wake up and maybe they're in the bathroom, maybe they're having a shave or they having a shower, and some of their thoughts in their head is, oh, another day like this. Oh man, I'm a failure. And what? In the bank account, there's no money. I mean, what am I going to do this week? And they talk in that language. What I say to people is, find a different language. So what is it you want in the future? And then create a declaration or an affirmation. And so instead of saying, oh, I've got no money in the bank today, I've got no money, it's a struggle this month, I can't go out with my friends, it's a struggle this month, I can't afford this for my daughter, for my son, it's a struggle. Instead of saying that, which is negative programming, you can simply reprogram yourself if you've got the discipline, and then just write it out and say it every single morning. For example, when I was struggling and when I learned this technique, one of the first things I kept writing and kept saying every day is, I am financially free. Wow. I am financially free. I am financially, but I was broke. I was broke with over $100,000 of debt. But I'm financially free does something else chemically in your brain, in your subconscious mind. And it got me to that in 18 months, less than 2 years. It was actually 18 months to financial freedom.
Wow, beautiful thoughts there. It's all about how you talk to yourself. Is that the way that we can put across, Mac?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
How you talk
Fantastic.
to yourself every day.
Mac, what's your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote, I gave it to you already, but let me repeat. In the moment, in your moment of decision, your destiny is shaped.
In the moment of your decision, your destiny is shaped. Wonderful. Okay.
So this again is about the moment. In the moment of decision. So whatever you are going through right now, if you just take a breath, sit down and ask yourself, what is the decision I need to make right now? And when you make that decision from a place of, so that decision might be, I need to get Mac's book. That decision might be, I need to follow Mac on Instagram because I'm giving a lot of content, as you know. Or that decision might be, I need to go to Sorav's course. I need to do Sorav's course. That moment of decision says, I don't want to be going backwards anymore. Sorav said something that made sense to me. I must follow through on that. That means you've said to your mind, enough is enough. I'm going to do whatever it takes to change. It's a moment of decision. And that I say to myself, anytime things are not going right, I sit down and I think, what's the decision I need to make right now for the benefit of me and for the benefit of my clients and benefit of my family, for the benefit of everyone I'm involved with. That's my favorite quote.
Beautiful point there. Mac, I'll take another 15 minutes of yours and
Sure.
We'll wind this up. If a person is failing at the moment, Mac, he's depressed because of the loss, what would you say to him at the moment?
Okay, thank you. It's a great question. Anyone who's struggling right now, what I would say is, we are in a situation that you didn't create. You didn't create it. And some people call it's a plandemic. Some people say it's a scamdemic. Whatever it is, you didn't create it. And there are things going on. We know that coronavirus is real. Some people are getting sick from it. Some people are asymptomatic. So, I mean, it comes in and it goes, they don't fall sick. But it's real. And so governments have made decisions to shut things down or do different things. And in March this year, just very early stages of lockdown in the UK, I did a webinar. I think a webinar of Facebook Live at the same time. And I actually, my inner circle, my core clients, I said to them, look, things are going to change over the next few months. And I want you to get into a position where you can make an objective decision. Be objective, because it's easy right now to get emotional. And if you get emotional, you're going to go down. If you get objective, you're going to make better decisions. And so I provided them with a cash flow forecast that I use for my 5 businesses. And that cash flow forecast, I said to them, look, January this year, February this year, March, put all your numbers in terms of sales revenue and your cost and everything else. And let's look at the profit and the cash flow at the bottom. So just put them all in. And April, you don't know the numbers. April, May, June, just forecast, just guess. Based on, you can't open your restaurant right now. If you can't open your restaurant right now, what can you do? Okay, what if I did takeaways? Okay, if I do takeaways, okay, I won't get as much money, but I'll get this on the sales revenue. My cost is going to be this. I've still got to pay the expenses of the restaurant because it's shut down, but I've got to pay for various taxes and everything else. Fine. Project that all across for this 12 months until the end of the year.
Wow.
Some of you will notice there will be 3 different scenarios. One of the scenarios is, look, if this goes on until July, I may be okay. If this goes on, so I may be okay, but when I'm looking at it, I'm going to be short of cash. So I need to contact the bank. I need to contact a friend, family to just support me for these 3 or 4 months. And then from July, August, September, as things get better, I will be able to pay them back. So the first one is I'm going to be okay. The second one is this. So first one is, I don't need to do anything. Everything's okay. Second one, I need to borrow some money in order to be okay for the next few months. The third one is, if this goes on from March to July or whatever period, by June, I'm out of business. Because the numbers will tell me there's not enough cash flow to sustain, and I can't borrow any more money. Nobody's supporting me. So I'm going to be out of business in June or July or August. It doesn't matter. But from an objective point of view, you can say, okay, I've created this successful business, so it's no longer. And I say to people, let it go. Right. It's not easy. Let it go and get ready for your new thing that you're going to do. Get ready for the new thing. Because in this climate where things are going the wrong way for some people, there are other people who are pivoting into the future. This is going to be the new normal. So what is the new thing you can do? And I took my clients back to people problem, product, price.
Wow.
What is it now that who are the people? What problems do they have?
Now,
And
what
yeah,
problems do they have now at the moment?
now,
Yeah,
now,
right. Yeah,
now. You understand?
yeah.
So, so those people are struggling. Do an exercise where you come from a more objective point of view, not from an emotional point of view. And most people come from an emotional point of view because they are attached to their business. You know, people ask them, what do you do? Well, I'm the CEO of this or CEO of that. And so they take their identity as their business, as opposed to the business is actually designed to provide a service or product to clients who will give you money so you can have profits. If the business is not doing that, there is no business. So let it go and create a new business. It's easier said than done, but if you focus on the people, if you focus on the prospect, if you focus on the people who need you, you will create magic for them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. That's some really good learnings for all of us. I have some quick personal questions for you. What time do you wake up, Mac?
Oh, great question. I wake up naturally. It's anytime between 5 a.m. and 5:45, 6 a.m., something like that. It depends what time I went to bed the night before, but typically I'm up between 5 and 6. And the first thing I do is I do my meditation and prayers. That's the first thing, and my gratitude says first.
And what's your fitness routine like?
Sorry?
What's your fitness routine like?
Okay, good. So I have a morning process, and that morning process includes doing my martial arts practice. You know, a lot of people won't know here, but I'm a former UK champion in Taekwondo martial arts. I am a 5th Dan black belt in Taekwondo martial arts. So I practice that every single morning. And also I got a rebounder, which I bound on, which actually affects the cells of the body. And so I have a fitness regime I follow every morning.
Awesome. Guys, if you're enjoying the session and learning a lot, do not forget to take a screenshot, tag us in your stories, tag Mac, and do follow him. Please do go follow him right at the moment. Okay, what are those 3 things that you love about India, Mac?
Oh, wow. You know, one thing I love about India is this. Oh, there's many things, but one of them is the people are so warm and so hungry. You know, warm people mostly. And I've been through the whole, you know, most of the country because of our friend Sorav, who's taken me around the country to teach. The other thing I love about India is the thirst for knowledge, thirst for information. So I go to a lot of countries and some people can't be bothered. The most regions I go to around India is I see they're hungry for that information and they want to make a change. They want to move to thriving. They want to move forward, which is amazing for India, and hence the reason why I believe India is one of the, you know, I think it's the 5th largest economy in the world right now. I think recently it overtook UK. Recently overtook the United Kingdom. And I've been telling people in the UK, look, you've got to watch out for India. These guys are smart, they're sharp, they're doing things. And so, yeah, it's amazing. It's an energy thing. When I come to India, it's an energy thing. I feel the energy and the energy to move forward, which is great.
Awesome, Mac. This is cool. Mac, if you wake up one morning and realize you have lost everything, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Thank you. And if I wake up and one morning I've lost everything, I will still do my gratitude process. I'll still do my meditation. I'll still do my prayers, and I'll ask the question, what's the decision I need to make right now? And that decision, the decisions I often make is really in regards to, often not even me, it's about my family, because I'm big on family. What's the decision I need to make right now to make sure my family is good? And so I'll ask myself those questions and make those decisions. Once I've made that decision, then there's only one way forward. If I need the knowledge and say, okay, what's the knowledge? Okay, what's the decision I need to make? Where is it I need to, where do I want to be, or where do I want to go? What's the information or support I need to get there? So I'll go through the same process that I teach people, and that situation will change.
Wow. There's so much to learn from you, Mac. I think I should possibly subscribe to all your courses with time. This is the last question for you, Mac. What is that one piece of advice you would like to give to today's youngsters who are hooked or addicted to social media?
Wow. Okay. All right. So, okay, let me give you, I'll give you a scenario. I'll give you two situations. There are, and this is important to everyone listening right now, there are consumers of social media and there are producers on social media. And so you've got to ask yourself at one stage is, do I want to continue becoming a consumer, or do I want to be a producer? And if I want to produce, then can I produce in a way that eventually rewards me and serves other people? And so if you're consumed on social media, ask yourself, is this, sitting hours after hours after hours doing that, is that actually helping me? Is that serving me? Is it serving anyone else? And you can watch other people doing it, and at some point you're gonna say, okay, I saw them do it, now become a producer. Learn from Sorav on how to be a producer so you can produce and make a difference in other people's lives. And the best thing is, once you're producing and it's working, you can still consume some stuff and make your stuff even better. And so the big thing, I'm gonna give you one word. And every season, if I call it that, every season or every time, these things are often a distraction. So in the 1940s and 50s, we had radio. Radio was a distraction,
right,
in terms of what you should be doing. We moved to the 60s, 70s, 80s, television. Television became a distraction. This program, that program, that program. Now we're in the era of social information, social media, and there are so many to choose, and it's a distraction. So limit the amount of time you have on social media, but realize what you're supposed to be doing and go and do that.
Superb. I think it's just amazing. Thank you, Mac. I think I learned a lot personally, and I'm sure a lot of the audiences out there, and even people who are going to watch this later, they are going to learn a lot from this session. Thank you for doing this for me, Mac. It's a pleasure hosting you. I still remember the last thing that you did on the stage, dig the grave, and I want you to do that today. I remember that night we had a party and I made you do that step, and that became our signature step in the dance form as well. So can I see the dig the grave before we leave?
Okay, and a lot of people won't understand the context of it, but I'll do dig the grave, dig the grave, dig the grave, dig the grave. Like, you won't understand the context until you come to making the stage.
Yeah. So it's like a suspense, which you will only unreveal if you are part of making the stage. So I'm not going to share what happens in making the stage. Is something that you should experience. Can't be shared at the moment. Mac, thank you and gratitude again for doing this.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, so much to learn, and thank you so much for mentoring me, for shaping my life, and will always be in gratitude to whatever you have taught me in making this stage. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, sir. You take care, and thank you for inviting me onto your show. God bless everyone. God bless.
My pleasure. Thank you. Goodbye, Mac.
See you next time.
I hope you guys had a lot of learning experience today. I personally learned a lot from this gentleman. Please go do buy his book. Search for Mac Attram on Amazon. Definitely, there's a lot of his programs that's going to happen in India very soon. You should definitely be part of it. If you guys enjoyed the session, please do not forget to take screenshots from the recordings. I'm just going to upload it on IGTV now. You can watch it there too. Share it with your friends. Share this on your story so that you guys can benefit a lot and your friends can benefit a lot as well. So I'll keep inviting a lot of such experts who have changed my life, a lot of such experts who have been changing lives of people so that we can learn a lot through them in these live sessions. So thank you so much once again, and dhanyawad and goodbye. Loving you all so much. Goodbye. Thank you.